session podcasts. Now, before that, if anyone has some additional questions regarding yesterday's session, please tell me. I'm ready. Otherwise, the stage will be Nick's. No question. Okay. Nicola, stage is yours.
So, hello everyone. Thank you for the nice introduction. I'm very glad to conduct this training for you. And to start with, I'd like you to start and tell me your name one by one and where are you from. So we will have a little bit of getting to know each other better to conduct this training more effectively. So we can start with Tamara, maybe.
Yes, sure. My name is Tamara Chikogidze. I'm a General Director of Radio Holding Fortuna. I'm also the member of consortium of the project we just holding. It's a year and a half, it's 2-year actual project that we are organizing together with the members of our consortium, members of European Union. And the aim of this is to propagate the trustworthy journalism in across Europe. So and we are looking forward to hear your training, and thank you for coming and participating in our project.
Thank you very much. Who wants to be next, or should I call you out?
I can be next volunteer. So
Nice.
Hi Nicholas. Nice to see you. My name is Sandro. I'm coordinator of these trainings, and as well I have a news webpage called founders.g. So actually we're trying to have some tech and business-based news about startups, about technologies, and etc. And that is training was really useful for us last days. He showed really cool tools, which is useful in media side as well in daily life. Thank you, Tachi, for this, and we are waiting to you today.
Great.
So, thank you.
Great. Thank you, Sandro. We have still a lot of people here that I don't know. We have Dr. Serey, Ines. I just need to also know how to pronounce your names, and your background is also interesting, so I can like be communicating in a more effective
Nicholas,
way.
we have message in chat box. So Nelly's writing that.
Okay. So there is Nelly Kalu, project manager for the Center for Collaborative Investigative Journalism, and she's happy to be here. All right, thank you. I mean, it would be better if we interacted in person, but anyways, like if it's not convenient or possible, it's still okay, of course.
So we are a little bit shy.
Yeah, it's okay. I understand. We have another okay, I think we can get along with the names later too when we get on more practical exercises. So I will share the presentation with you, and let's begin. Okay, so what is the principles of photo storytelling? start with, we have yes, the impact of storytelling. You all can see my screen, yeah?
Yeah, we can. Yes.
Okay, nice. So one of the strongest ways for humans to bond and have always been through storytelling, like listening to each other, to tell our stories. It builds empathy, forges trust, and simply creates deeper connections. And it is also a highly effective way to unite emotions um, with just meaning and intention. So storytelling is kind of cultural practice of sharing stories with others. Um, so how are images used effectively in storytelling? 99 times out of 100, photos can create sense of place, sense of personality, or emotion more clearly and quickly than the written word. So it is said a picture is worth 1,000 words. That's why we are drawn to stories that include photographies. The images powerfully confirm and simply expand upon what we discover in the text. Um, there are many forms of uh, storytelling, like oral storytelling, digital, and written storytelling, and the medium used often reflective of the people telling the stories. So each group has specific tales they tell, and many serve a purpose such as entertainment, cultural preservation, or instilling moral values. And photography is often a vital part of that storytelling, especially in its digital form. And one indication that the photography has become its own form of storytelling is the phrase that we already covered, that a picture is worth 1,000 words. A photographic story really can change the viewer's think, feel, and act. They can bring viewers to new places, introduce them to new people, and create empathy for the planet, to those who live on. So let's start with some principles of photography. Like one of the main principles, the very first steps can be planning in storytelling. So it is like the kind of must in storytelling that if you are able, you should like plan in advance how you're going to visualize the story you have in your mind. Also, you might be like already very skilled in storytelling. It comes after years of compelling stories that you can like just quickly come up with a story, or you might be in such a situation that you don't have a planning time, and you might be taking photographs and at the same time planning in your mind. But let's talk about the classic approach, which is that planning process just should include selecting the topic, doing a research on the topic, and planning your shots. They should be very diverse and visually appealing. So you should also consider using some symbols in your images in order to convey your message more clearly. Often during a shoot, you might not be able to capture the photos in the exact order you planned, but however, keeping this order in mind can help you to be less chaotic and edit the story in less time. So the more organized we are in the very beginning, like we know, for example, A, B, and C, the more effective we are in the editing process, which can be a huge mess if we get into photographing without having a clear view or planning about what are we planning, why are we shooting, and how. In addition to this, there's a practical value of planning your shoot ahead. Like if you scout the area you will shoot before the actual session, you will know what kind of lighting is available there and what kind of weather patterns you can expect. When it comes to storytelling in travel or documentary photography, it can be pretty useful to research the local culture, events, and behavioral patterns of the subject to be photographed. So never assume that everything will go ahead smoothly. Be prepared to tackle various issues as they arise. And most of the times that issues that arise bring the best results because you might not be expecting some kind of problem, some kind of unexpected situation, but that unexpected situation brings in some crazy, exciting photograph, which is your cover for the magazine, or let's say something around it. Second thing can be about single shot versus multiple images. So can a photographer narrate better stories with a single image or with a series of images? While it's not easy to answer this question because it depends on the topic of storytelling, it's important to remember that a single image is only a semi-truth because it's impossible to tell everything in just one photograph. A single image might be very powerful, but it is still only one part of the bigger picture. On the other hand, a series of photographic images allow a viewer to process each image independently and then connect multiple images into a cohesive storyline. And the first and last images in a series are the most important because they have to be strong enough to grab a viewer's undivided attention. In addition to choosing whether you want to tell stories with a single or multiple images, you should also decide what kind of story do you want to tell. You have two options, open or closed stories. So open stories are quite interesting because they give a lot of freedom to both photographers and their audience. This means that the viewer's past emotions and experiences will affect the way your story is seen and interpreted. On the other hand, a closed story doesn't leave a lot of room for open-ended interpretations. It should be organized and told in a rather straightforward way so that everyone can come to the same conclusion. Next topic we can talk about in the storytelling classic approach is emotional impact. No matter how brilliant your storytelling pictures are in terms of their technical expertise, they also have to hold a strong emotional impact with your viewers. Not all images must contain a human figure or human interaction to be emotionally strong. In fact, they can contain anything from a landscape to abstract visuals. The only thing that matters is that they can evoke strong emotions in the viewer's heart. So in addition to evoking strong emotions, storytelling images should be carefully layered with meaning. This is usually the most difficult process in storytelling because it does not allow us to take just random pretty images. These intentional layers of meaning should be the main criteria when selecting and arranging the images for the story. So think carefully about your colors and composition when you want to create certain emotions in your storytelling photographs. The color scheme and even the white balance you choose can be great tools for conveying certain emotions. I'll cover more about these details in the next modules, like about white balance and all the technical things you need to know. Let's say for now that your color scheme is basically your map of emotions, like what emotions you want to tackle. So knowing the color theory can help you create rather bold and memorable images. And we're not gonna go deep into color theory now, but what it basically is that, for example, blue color stands for trust, and so on, like different emotions for different colors. And like experimenting with warm colors or cool colors will allow you to like quickly change the atmosphere in your images. For instance, if you focus on the spectrum of reds, that will increase the sensation of joy, intimacy, passion. On the other hand, like cold bluish colors will transmit the feeling of calm or perhaps like unhappiness and isolation. Uh, let's talk about variety in your storytelling. Like, so everybody likes variety, and since you certainly don't want your viewers to get bored and consider your storytelling skills weak, you need to change their imagination by offering them a variety of shots. Just focusing on one kind of photograph won't tell a whole story. You need to pay attention to details and become flexible when it comes to your shooting style and aesthetic preferences. So you need to vary and shoot portraits, landscapes, abstract images, wide angle shots, action shots, zoom in, detail shots, and so on in order to tell a whole story. Another thing is originality. Originality might seem like an overrated concept, but it's quite important, especially in storytelling photography. It's hard to come up with an original scenario that can truly entertain your viewers. It's challenging to create something unique with billions of images that can be seen everywhere these days. But however, it's a great practice to strive for originality and stand out from the crowd whenever it's uh, possible. So when beginning in the world of photography, instead of looking at others and thinking that, oh, I should like mimic their style, you can look at them, see how they're doing, what qualities they are using, but also look for the room of what can you create additionally what they have not created. Structured narratives. So stories must have beginning, middles, and ends. And the same principle holds true for visual storytelling too. If you're just starting out a series of pictures, you can practice storytelling by trying to form a chronological narrative structure. Just like a movie, your photo essay should have an opening shot, establishing shot, interactive and sequential shots, and a closing shot. So as we see in this series of photographs, um, we have like different like these sequences, which can, if you arrange them differently, you can have absolutely different story. So it's also a very interesting thing. Uh, and the last but not least is impact. So if you have followed the uh, previous 6 principles, you should be able to offer a really strong and meaningful story in with your like planned narrative and structuring together with a chronologically ordered series of photographs. This will lead the reader along an imaginary path and provide success in your storytelling. So, but if you want to make something more experimental, You don't have to stick to these rules, but you should still have some kind of minimal narrative structure to guide your viewers. The idea of storytelling is becoming even more interesting when there are illustrations available, and this is the exact reason why everybody likes photo articles. And it's like illustrations make the stories alive and more memorable, and because of this, it's definitely worth the effort to learn to tell stories with photographs. So photography as an art form is often a very important part of storytelling process, especially in its digital form. So to start with the more practical stuff, we can go through understanding the basics of compositions. And one of the basics of compositions is rule of thirds. So what is the rule of thirds? You can take a close look. So we have this chart and it has like two lines in the middle, like two vertical lines and two horizontal lines. So this is some type of mechanism that we use to have more order in our shot. The rule of thirds is a composition technique that guides you to place your subject on the left or right, leaving more room for the other objects. Also, there are other forms of composition. The rule of thirds helps get the most well-composed shots. Just imagine diving your image into 9 equal parts as shown on this image. And with the help of these two vertical and two horizontal lines, that precisely what makes the rule of thirds. So using this grid, you must place your objects along the lines or at the points of intersection. So it will bring more harmony and will have more impact to the viewer. And the best part about this is that it's available in most cameras and mobile phones. You can just activate this. It's called a grid feature in cameras and mobiles. So how to use the rule of thirds in photography? So there's first technique of rule of thirds can be to align the subject with lines or intersections. I mean, using the rule of thirds is easier once you understand it correctly, and also practicing it will help you to capture better outcomes. So when you are about to take a photograph, you can enable this grid on your digital camera and focus on the 4 intersections the grid lines form and align your subject with one of these. You can also align it with the vertical or horizontal lines and take the image below as an example. Like here, this human figure is the subject or the focal point placed along the right line. We see this man standing here, and this way the focus remains on the subject, but the other visual elements complement it and set the scene. We also see that the horizon line is aligned at the lower grid line. So this is basically one of the ways that the rule of thirds work. Another way is to this is the same example here. We have the tree and the horizon under this first line and tree on the right section here. Also here we have this we can like use it in different ways. For example, we have these intersection points also can be used, like we have this face of the dog at the upper left corner, and on the right 3 spots is basically free, and this free space is helping the eye to see our object or the point of focus more clearly. Also, like in this picture here, we have like the intersection points used, like this body of this woman, the forehead, and this like piece of cloth and the horizon. So this is like pretty well balanced photograph we can have. And same in here, we have this upper part of the sky and kind of partly horizon, not a completely perfect horizon line, but um, however it was possible, it's set on the lower ground we see, and the dog or wolf, I don't know, we have it on the lower right corner on the intersection points. Same type of aligning the subject with lines. We have the surfer on the right line and the horizon on this horizontal line. So we have like one horizontal and one vertical alignment, which makes this photo really appealing to the eye. Um, okay, so this is like the example of another way of using the rule of thirds is to align the linear elements with grid lines. You can also like uh, use it to like conversely elements like doors, pillars, waterfalls, and people in standing position look better when you align them with the vertical grid lines. So this makes your photo more aesthetically pleasing to the eye, and at the same time you can emphasize the scene's interesting elements more. Like here we see this like uh, horizon line aligned at the lower horizontal line, and we have the sky all over, so it's like pretty much balanced, rather than if we shoot it without using the rule of thirds. Here also we have like this horizon line and the tree aligned along the, it's like not may not be perfectly on this line, but it might be along the line, and it still works perfectly fine. We see in this picture the horizon line is a little bit up on this horizontal line. And yeah, in this picture also we see the sun is at the upper left intersection point, and we have the boat aligned and the shore horizontal line aligned on the horizontal line. So the boat is like pretty much in the middle of the points of intersections, and this like pretty much gives more impact to the eye, pleasing to the eye. We also have the technique of aligning objects diagonally in the using the rule of thirds using the grid. This is a effective tactic when you want to capture objects with irregular shapes, for example, like paths, roads, and rivers. So instead of placing the central alignment in a left to right direction, you can position it diagonally to ensure they are aligned right. So check for the diagonal intersection points. This helps the viewer's eye to wander around the image. So we see like it's aligned in here, 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 and also same way like on the opposite way. And we see like using this grid makes this image more appealing. Like it would be way hard to capture this like irregular shape more like symmetrically, but using this technique when we align objects diagonally is pretty helpful in this situation. And another thing we have is to, for example, look here, we have like more imagination. Like this is not very much symmetrical figures, but we can see that the imagination of the photograph gave like the sun, the boat, and the other part here. So it's like these three intersection points, and also he has used the horizontal lines for the sky and the line of the sea level here. And the one of the important parts is you can always break the rule of thirds. I mean, it might sound confusing, but and it can be very rare, but you can completely disregard the rule in some cases. For instance, if you see a balance in the scene, there is not really need to use the rule of thirds. Like in this picture, you may find symmetry in landscapes with lakes and river reflections, and you don't really need to turn on your grid and make it to match for some point somewhere. Like this is like it comes really after practice, after taking lots of photographs. It doesn't matter if it's like for work or for personal project, but after doing it some time, this rule of thirds really becomes a habit which you feel with your eyes, and you may even come up with your own sense of symmetry and find a new way of placing your object through the grid. So in some cases, it will be very useful to use these classic approaches that we went through in the past slides, aligning objects diagonally or aligning objects through the grid lines or in the intersection points. So I'm sure we all have smartphones, and what I would like you to do before we move on our next topic, it would be nice. What do you think? Can we like make a little exercise where can we like test the grid and rule of thirds with our smartphones in the room? So let me know, what do you think? Okay, before giving this exercise, I'll give you some more examples of rule of thirds. And I'll give you more examples, so be like very attentive, and then we will have this exercise of using the grid. So this first example, let's discuss this picture. The tree aligned along the left vertical grid line here with the horizon aligned along the lower horizontal grid line. This photo we see is a perfect example of using the rule of thirds for good composition. And here's what you can take away from this picture. The tree, which is the main subject, is perfectly aligned with the left vertical line and well positioned with the help of the intersections. We see like this one intersection here is kind of in the middle of this tree branch. And the second intersection is like at the body of the tree. And this leaves the negative space on the right to set the scene. So what really helps us to see the object is the emptiness in the scene, like the space. So it's often said that photography is painting with the light, but it's also painting with the space. It's about how you will use the free space you have to show your subject, which is taking up some part of the space. So the tree is really well positioned here, and the photo is cleanly divided into two parts with the ground aligned to the horizontal grid, and 1/3 of the picture is foreground, and the 2/3 of the picture makes the background, like here, and which is giving us more depth. So since no object or element is on the right side, the right side is free, there are no distractions and the focus remains on the subject. So let's move on to the next example. Yeah, we see a windmill aligned with the left vertical grid line with the hills and mountains in the background at a distance. So this example looks similar to the previous one, but only partially. And here's the key takeaway from this example. The horizon in this image is not complete, or even you can say that there is no horizon at all. We see like it's incomplete, but the rule of thirds is loosely followed in this picture, positioning only this subject, this windmill, on the left with the aid of intersection points. And the photographer has tried to align the limited horizon with the bottom horizontal grid line to maintain balance and proportions. So we still see that there it did not have like much properties, like no horizon line, but is with using of its imagination, it still aligned whatever was given to align. Compared to this picture where it has a clean and perfect horizon line and more possibility to perfect the grid. But even though in this picture it did not have, he still used some imagination and put the horizon on the grid. The third example, also the photographer has used the rule of thirds loosely. We see it's almost breaking it. Like we see these two intersection points. They're free, they're not on these two kind of towers here. But there sure is a lot to learn from this type of composition. Here also, the photographer has divided the image into two almost equal halves horizontally by positioning the coastline at the center. So this photo's main subject is like this building here we see, which is like perfectly aligned in the middle part. And this like breaking point of the floor here we have is like aligned to the bottom horizontal line, and we see that this is like not perfectly put on the line, but it's like aligned along the line and it still works perfectly.
Can you, I've sent you the number, the guy's number. Joe said we should tell him that we got it from Ede in Amsterdam. So when you, I don't want to bother calling the guy, you call the guy, tell him you got, just say the same thing, you got his number from Ede in Amsterdam, that Ede is your sister's friend. You understand? Yeah, just put it like that, and you and the guy transact. You tell him you're sending the money and send him the account number you send me to give Joe and carry on from there. Then also, when he finish, ask him if once in a while when you get Naira, can you be reaching out to him?
Sandro, can we mute? I think it's a
So what? You're going to say something?
Sandro. Sandro, can we mute? Sorry.
Yeah, I do.
Thank you.
Okay. I want to show you like few more examples. That, for example, this on this picture also, like I was saying, that we have this middle part perfectly aligned in the center of this building, and also the sides are perfectly equal on the grid. So we have this lower right first section, second and third, and same way here, which makes this perfectly balanced composition. Also, like the next example is this waterfall between the hills, and this image alignment and compositional elements teach more than just the rule of thirds, because this photograph is divided into 3 unequal parts, like the waterfall, the main subject, the pool, the foreground, and the sky, the background. And the waterfall is well aligned with the vertical grid line on the left, and flows into the frame towards the bottom right, we see. So this helps to draw the viewer's attention to one part at a time. And you can also consider there to be a leading line that enables you to pan your eyes from left to right. So this is a line here, this is a line here, and this makes your photograph more aligned. And also the alignment of the waterfall on the left also emphasizes the wall and additional details, and it looks more aesthetic. As we see, it's aligned to the left vertical grid line. We have more space here, which makes it easy for the eye to, at the same time with the waterfall, see and have a impression of this wall here. So this is a great example of how a rule of thirds can really balance your photograph. So it's like not too like not too stressed photograph with like too many subject, too many things going on, but still we have here pretty much things going on, but using the rule of thirds, it's all well balanced. For example, on this portrait we have here, is really interesting because the using of the rule of thirds in portrait photography is comparatively more accessible than in landscape photography. And we can take this image as an example. So like, if you want to keep your subject in the center and focus, placing the eyes on the upper horizontal grid line is the best way to get the right alignment. So we see this here how it's on the upper grid, how the eyes are aligned. And we see like that the additional parts like shoulders must stay with the lower grid line here. So it is like very much balanced also here. So, and make sure that the face is in the center of these grid boxes. So this is a very good example. And this is like basically concludes the major and main principles of using the rule of thirds and grid lines. It's not a must, especially in the modern day of photography. You can like come up with your own style, with your own feeling, your own approach. But in some complex situations, or if we have some classic work to do, some classic interview or portrait to do, this can be very useful. Also, you can use a rule of thirds and then have a little bit of your own adjustments. So move some objects a little bit out of the grid, a little bit in the grid. So don't really limit yourself to some rules. It's just this is like the physics and mathematics of the of aesthetics, which you can use as much as you like, as much as the work needs. And now I would like you to use your smartphones and just turn on the grid on your smartphone camera. I'll teach you how to turn it on. If you don't know, let me know. Turn on the grid and using any of these methods, you can like turn your imagination on, put any object, anything in the room, just very quickly, very simply, whatever you'd like, and place it along the grid and share the picture with us. I'll help you with the technical stuff. So if we have, I will tell you, like if we have Apple device like iPhone, I'll tell you first for the iPhone, we need to go in general phone settings. If you're following, just open general settings, then go and find camera, and when you go in camera, there is composition and grid, and you just turn on the grid for the camera. I can also show you, if you see on the screen here, is it visible or it's reflected? I think it's reflected. You just go in settings, and in settings you find camera. You go in camera and turn on the grid. If anybody has problem with turning on the grid, just let me know and I'll help you. Yes, Sandra, that is for the iPhone. I think for Samsung, you can even turn on grid from the camera application itself. It's either from the camera application itself or from the settings. Yes, for Samsung devices, it's from the camera app. For iPhone devices, you should go into general settings, find camera and turn on grid. So your task is to just take one or two pictures of anything you would like. For example, I have like this little toy here, and I could just put it on the table, and using my grid, I would just try to align it to the right side of the grid or the left side, or you can use the table as it's like a horizon line, the line of the table. It's just for imagination. Yeah, you can do it like that. And let's take the pictures, and when everybody will have the pictures, let me know, and we will share the pictures and just go one by one. This is also like very good practice, because after hearing so much theory, if we do it just once, it goes in our brain even better, and then we can use it uh, more practically. After you finish taking your picture, you can directly share it um, to our Zoom chat. If you are from the mobile on Zoom, you can share it from mobile. If you are on from PC or laptop, you can send a picture uh, to yourself on Facebook or any chat that's available on your PC, and share it from there. If you have additional questions, just let me know. I will help you in a means of sharing your work. Uh, yes, the grid is only to help us during the photographing, but it should not appear on the picture. It was appearing on the picture for the samples in my presentation. So in your camera, it's just for the photographer to see whether it's in balance or no. Nice picture. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think we are still waiting for half of our participants for the pictures. By now,
Sandro, did you just take the picture? Sandro,
Yeah,
did you
actually,
just
I
take this picture of the
yeah,
cute dog?
yeah.
So cute.
So
Very cute dog.
she's attending training as well. So
Oh, so nice.
yeah, she's perfectly aligned to the right
Oh.
vertical line here.
yeah, I tried to do it really great.
Posing so
Yeah.
nicely.
Yes, yes.
Unbelievable.
Yes, I'd like to just wait for everyone to finish the photography, and then we'll go one by one. Maybe also I'll also like try to share. So I think we have 7 more participants who still didn't send a picture. Okay, I counted 7 picture here. So just let me know if we should wait for you or no.
I think we can start and then the rest, if they can join us while we will be reviewing the photos. Don't you think?
Yeah, it would be good if everybody was listening and not that
Okay,
some of the
sure.
part was taking the picture. Oh, okay, we have some more here. Nice. So some of the pictures are not directly opening in the chat because of its resolution, but it's all right. We have pretty good pictures so far. Okay, I think we can start. We still have 5 people. who is supposed to send us photographs. So let's start with the first one. You're able to open the pictures from the chat, yeah? So I won't be sharing the screen. Or I can share it.
This is my picture, Nicholas.
Can you pronounce your name so I'll know
Gülsen.
how?
Gülsen.
Gulsan?
Yes, it's all right.
Okay, so
His
we
other name, Dr. Saray, I think, right? You are-
Yes, that's right.
Okay.
No, this is a very cozy atmosphere, only 7, 8 people, so it's better to
Okay.
be informal.
Okay, so we have this picture here, and if we imagine grid line, just to like paint it quickly. You see it, yeah?
Yes.
So this is not like the perfect grid line, but we can still have the idea. So we have this kind of horizon line table acting as a horizon here, aligned to the lower horizontal line, which is nice. Then we have this upper horizontal line for the background, for more depth, for like other objects, and the wall in the back, which naturally creates these objects in between these two lines in the center. So it turns out a bit more, I mean, quite more balanced pictures than it would be without the grids. So well done. You got the assignment
Thank you.
very well. Let's move to the next picture. We have Tamara's picture next. Yes. So we can do the same here, and let's see. So we see, all of you see the picture, yeah? So we see this left pillar is here aligned to the left horizontal line. We have this part of the horizon and part of the window here aligned. And we have this sky and ground intersection point here on the upper grid line. So it makes a kind of sense of a picture in a picture, because we have like this edge here and then another edge here and another edge here, and we have the horizontal line. So this is also like nice example. You can see how these grid lines and using this rule of thirds can make like a picture which can be like very boring, make it like more orderly and more appealing to the eye. So thank you, Tamara. Let's
you.
move to the next picture.
I also added the other one. I carried away with the taking photos, so maybe at the end I took actually the particular object, not just the kind of, yeah.
Oh, maybe we can open it.
It's, I don't know. Can you
Uh,
see it?
Yes, yes. Let's do it as it was like your turn. Let's do your pictures. And yeah, here we have. So I think all of you already can perceive the grid lines without me painting the grid lines. You can get it, yeah? Like I will paint it anyways. See, like. So this is it. So this is also like the first main principle we talked about. That we have this object perfectly on the left horizontal line here. So this makes the object to really stand out from the scene. Because we have it on the left horizontal line, like this line, we have pretty much space on the right wing here, and this free space makes our eye to see the object even better. So this is about painting with the free space. So this is about how you will use the free space to give more attention to your subject. So we have this here, we have the lower horizontal line, which goes through this line of the table. And we have the upper horizontal line, which goes at the edge of this line of the chair, and also like at the end point at the head of our subject, and also at the line of the door. So these many intersections, these many like edges here put in this grid, it makes this picture more appealing, as we can see, like without the grid lines. Just when you look at it, you can see that like this fits very well in our eye. This is great example. Thank you, Tamara. And we can use this
Thank you.
technique. You can use this technique in your projects, in either personal or not personal stuff. Let's
you.
see the next one. Next one here is Nelly. So since I did not hear from some of you how to pronounce your names, excuse me if I don't pronounce it correctly. Let's say this picture is from Nelly, also like quite classical with example. Like if we make this imaginary grid here, which goes this. Maybe I'm not painting perfect grids, but we can still get the idea here. So
I can't see the video.
you can't see. Sorry, wait. Now you can see, I think.
Yeah, now we can.
Yeah, so this is our picture without the not very perfect grid lines I'm painting. And without even the grid lines, we can say that this bag is perfectly aligned in the middle. So we covered like different techniques of using this rule of thirds, yeah? And it really depends on what you are shooting, what you want to highlight. Like if you are doing a portrait, you can use this technique, but if you are doing more like landscape stuff, you might want to align it to more to the left or more to the right, so it depends. In this case, we have just a single subject, and if we put on these grid lines, we can see that these big margins here, like the edges, horizontal and vertical edges, are perfectly aligned to horizontal and vertical grid lines here. And we see like this kind of symbol, something is in the middle, and every line of every like horizontal and vertical is aligned, and this makes the picture and our subject more appealing. And here you have like one more good example. And thank you, Nelly, for this example. Move to the next one we have here. We have our friend here. You'll see. What was her name, Sandro?
Molly.
Molly.
Mhm.
Okay, so let's put Molly in the grid lines here.
So actually I tried with the horizontal and vertical as well.
It's aligned with horizontal
And vertical, I tried this two type picture type taking version. So I think horizontal it's more easy because you have more flat screen.
yes. Yeah, I mean, depends. Like if you in the beginning, horizontal is more easy, but after some time of taking photographs, it really becomes a habit for the eye. Uh, Me personally, I don't use grid lines on camera. I use it like very rarely for interviews, maybe to just, if I don't feel that something is like perfect, I might turn it on to check, but it becomes very easy after you have some practice to do it even without turning on the grid. So after that, the vertical is also becomes very simple. And here we see like this is like a good alignment on the right side, which also makes us to see the object on the left background kinda. And we have this kind of table to the lower horizontal line. And we have our little friend Molly aligned to the right horizontal line, and her eyes and her middle point of her face is aligned here in the upper horizontal line. So this puts this picture also in a perfect position, as you can see, without the grid lines. When you look at it, Molly has enough space around her to make it more appealing to the eye. It is like not uncomfortably put in a space. So this is what the rule of third does. Thank you, Sandro,
Thank
for
you for
this
experience. Actually, I just used.
nice example. Let's move to the next one. Next one is Renata here. Let's open, share the picture. Okay, here we have another classic example. Sorry, my Zoom application had some problem. Just turned off while I try to share this next picture. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
I can hear you too.
Yeah, it has some kind of a problem. Like when I try to share this picture of Renata's, it's like it's shutting down the Zoom application.
I didn't send the virus.
So let me try one more time, maybe with some other picture. Oh, can the participants to whose pictures were not shared on the screen, can you send it again? Because in my chat, it's completely cleared and deleted. Some error from the application, probably. Like the ones which we did not review yet.
So actually, it was Nelly's photo, I guess.
Yeah, we had 4 pictures, I think, reviewed, but
Okay.
the Other ones are not visible in my chat since I joined just now.
I can download and I can send it again. Sure.
That'd be great.
Yeah, just give me 2 minutes.
I have Renata's picture here.
Mhm.
I'll try to share it again, but why is it like not sharing this picture? I think this is why it's not sharing. It's like a bit heavy inside, and the app is closing down.
So actually, I download some pictures and I'm sending.
Thank you, thank you. I think it's shared now.
Yeah, we can see.
Great. So this is also like one classic example of rule of thirds. Like I want you to imagine these grid lines before I paint it on, and you can guess how the author used the grid lines. So the building lines are like on the horizontal lines, and this line of this pot is on the vertical, I mean the horizontal lines and the vertical lines. So let's check this. Yeah, so we can see how it works. This ceiling, which kind of creates kind of our horizon line here, aligned to the horizontal, upper horizontal line, and the lower, this pot's body is kind of aligned to the lower horizontal, and we have the edges of the building aligned to the vertical lines. So this gives again the sense of balance. Like if we see without the grid lines, we have the sky pretty appealing to the eye, and we can clearly see the building and these flowers too, which it gives the more coziness and comfort to the picture and to the eye. So thanks to Renata for this beautiful picture.
Thank you.
I'll move to the next one. Since Sandro sent the pictures, okay, we have Diana here. This picture. Okay. So this is also very interesting. You see it, yeah? Picture. We see the part of the horizon line here, kind of aligned, and we see this is like what photographers intend to make this tower perfectly aligned to the left horizontal line. So I want you to take a look on the grid lines. Okay, and now take a look without the grid lines. So we see how it works just because of aligning it on the left horizontal, left vertical line, it gave us some space to the right, which gives more beauty, a piece of serenity, and makes this tower to stand out. So it's like you can use the same principle in whatever you want to shoot. We have this horizon on the lower horizontal line, and the sky starts in the like two thirds is the background and one third is the foreground. So I'm happy that you really understood the assignment and took it seriously. Thanks to Diana for this picture. Also, feel free to ask any questions during this review of ours. So since Sandro sent the pictures, I can't see the names of the authors. So when I share the picture, maybe you can tell me your name or write it in the chat as it's convenient for you. So next picture is, so who's the author of the picture? We don't know, but let's see. Let's put some grid lines on it, but I already see some symmetries here, some space, so it's like on the left. It's on the left line here, so if we put some not perfect grid lines, we can see like this is on the left intersection point here, aligned to the left side, and we have this table kinda thing aligned to the lower horizontal line, and which leaves some space on this right section and makes our subject to stand out. So this is one more example how you can like use it. But this is like, I want you to know that this is not the only way and this is not a must. This is just a method to just bring in some symmetry, bring in some harmony in your picture. Thank you for this example. Let's move to the next one here. This one, and let's say we have this glass of water. Yeah. So here also we see that definitely this glass of water is aligned to the left vertical. And the right vertical is free. And then we have these two sections.
It's Diane who did both of these pictures, as I can see from the previous chat.
Oh,
Diana
nice.
Gaylight.
Nice.
Mhm.
So yeah, like just putting your subject on the left intersection point just makes it very easy and very appealing for the eye, you can see. But you can like put it, try and put it in different ways. As we talked, we had some other methods as placing it diagonally, like here in the middle and here, or placing it along only the horizontal lines. But not only this is not the only way, but this is like the most common and classic ways. And yeah, like using this method, we again see that we have this subject nicely spaced out, like it has space in these sections left out, and we have a background here left out on the middle and on the right point. So this is beautiful example, and thank you again, Diane, for this example. Show you the next example, which is kinda similar.
It's also by Diane.
Oh, so we have a
Three
series of
photos.
series of water in different shapes. And here we can see again the bottle aligned on the left horizontal, as you can see. And we have this kind of horizon line here of like the table and wall intersecting, and it's like on the lower horizontal line, and we have the mainly the subject on the left vertical line, and on the also not only on the left vertical but on the intersection points like here and here, which makes like our subject here more appealing. So we have like all this space here. All this space gives us ability to see our subject without tension to our eyes. So this is like right as you look at the photograph, you can see that our eye is going to the subject because of the symmetry used. And this is a nice example again. Thank you again, Diane, for this example also. We have I think this is from Mike.
Yes, there are two photos of Mike's. Very nice.
Two photos of Mike. It's very interesting since this is a landscape type. So let's see, like, what do we see here? We see this horizon line here alongside the upper horizontal. Okay. And let's put the lower horizontal line here, which goes through the buildings. And then we see this one vertical and second vertical. So our main points here is this intersection point at this building here, this intersection point at this building here. So we see where this building is placed here. You see, and then we have these buildings placed here, and then we have the sky. Okay, So this is pretty interesting since we have the diagonal alignment also, some type of, and we have the foreground taking 2/3 of the picture and background taking 1/3 of the picture. So this is like more focused on the buildings and on the foreground, but the background is pretty visible also because of its space of 1/3 in the picture. And you can see like how many symmetries this picture has. Yeah, like on the background here we have the subject and some space out to the left, like here we have all this space in these 3 sections, and the buildings in like all of these, like 1, 2, 3, 4 sections, like I mean 3, we have like 3 to 3. So it makes kind of additional symmetries in the picture. And thank you, Mike, for this example. We can just check. I think we have one more left, and that's it on these exercises. So this is also a very interesting one. Yeah, I'm sure like after covering so many pictures and examples, you can already see the imaginary grid lines and see how the picture is like distributed on this scene. Yeah, we see there is like the one vertical line used and one horizontal line used. So let's paint it here.
Such a beautiful picture,
Yes, and it's very interesting.
like a postcard. It's so beautiful.
It looks like a picture from the stock pictures.
Yeah, but these are 5 new sparrows just now playing outside my window.
Oh, you're amazing.
It's only 4th or 5th day for them, and that's why they are not flying far away.
Beautiful, that's beautiful. So we see like they're here, like this is like perfectly aligned on the right section of this vertical, and we have the bird aligned perfectly on these 2 horizontal lines. So we have like this one intersection point, the second intersection point, which creates this like main base of the image. Okay, and then we have like kind of horizon line here consisting of this reddish object we have and the background. So this can be like a foreground and background. Again, we have like 2 sets here consisting of background and 1 set of the foreground. So this is why we did not need more than 1 set of foreground in this picture. Yeah, it's like more appealing if we have 2 sets of background and 1 set of this foreground, yeah. So this is great example. We also have like a depth of field, which we'll cover in the next module. We have like the background blood here and the nice color, and our bird really stands out in the composition. If you look, it has like enough space here so that our eye can perceive it seamlessly. So what this rule of third does is that when you look at the picture, it makes it very easy for the eye to perceive, since it's like distributed on here. We see like here and here. It makes very easy to perceive this because it's perfectly aligned symmetrically here, and it leaves even space here and here on these parts, okay? So thank you for this example. If you want to say something or ask something, I'm glad to hear. If no, we can have like a 5-minute break till we move to our next topic.
Okay, I think we can have 5 minutes break. So we meet at 3? Oh, no, sorry, 5 minutes. Yeah, it's 3 time in
Yeah,
Georgia. So,
I mean, we can meet at 3 if you feel.
our time. It's Georgian time, yeah, because there are a lot of people from Eastern Europe, from Europe,
okay.
so- Okay, Georgian time. So in 5 minutes. Thank you.
Yes, in 5 minutes, okay. So should we continue? Or should we wait for some members?
I think everybody's here and we can continue.
Okay. And our next topic is leading lines in photography. So we covered the rule of thirds, and this is another technique which is called the leading lines. And leading lines can be anything. It can be rivers, logs, yellow lines on a road, lines you create in the sand, the brickwork on a house, shadows, and literally anything that creates lines. So there are many examples of using leading lines in photography, but I'll show you some very common ones that are sure to improve our pictures. So, for example, in portrait photography, the leading lines are used to lead your eye into the model and create interest around that frame. So we see these leading lines. You can see the mouse too, yes? We see these leading lines leading to the model in creating a point of interest around her. Also, like in landscapes, it's used to add foreground interest and lead your eye from the foreground through the background of the scene. So we see how these lines are created using these pieces of wood, and these lines are making our eye to travel from the foreground to the background, and it's very interesting. And in architecture, it's used to create a feeling of you traveling through the building. Okay, so to use leading lines effectively, you need to be aware of the lines within the scene and how they interact with the subject. So you may even choose to seek out lines so that you can use them as a compositional tool, but we can have some tips for using leading lines in your photography. Like just look for the lines, pay attention to the lines within the scene and how they can be used to create a visual path towards your subject. So we see like this diagonal line here, and this line is like driving our attention towards this subject, and it makes our image very alive. Find the right angle. Experiment with different angles and perspectives to find the best way to incorporate the leading lines into your composition. So we see because of this angle on this picture, this movement of this woman toward this man is accompanied by the train movement and by all of these leading lines ending in the interest point here. For we have kind of starting point and middle point and ending point. So this is already very interesting. And of course, also you can use the rule of thirds additionally using the leading lines and place your subject of the center. Like if we imagine this rule of thirds here, she's aligned on the right vertical here, and this creates some depth and drives our eye to it. And here you can see this good example of leading lines like this line, and all of these lines here are driving attention to our subject. So you can also like create some depths to use like converging lines to create a sense of depth within the image like this way, and leading the viewer's eye toward the horizon or the vanishing point or the subject here. And can like experiment with different types of lines. For example, here we see how we use these lines and these lines to drive attention to our subject. And it's like some horizontal lines as we see like here, this and this. It can create a sense of calmness and sense of stability, while diagonal lines can create a sense of movement and sense of energy. See like some examples of leading lines, some more examples of leading lines. Okay, it's also a nice example of leading lines here. And let's talk about the third principle of composition is symmetry in composition. Like symmetry, it seems to satisfy a need within us, okay? So it fills us with calm and it feels relaxing to our brain, so it feels good. But why is it like that? Why do we take pleasure from symmetry? Maybe is it because symmetry occurs everywhere in nature, and we as humans have forever attempted to recreate it through art, through architecture, various areas of design, because it makes perfect sense. Symmetry is directly linked to balance and linked to strength. So if you look at the butterfly and its perfectly mirrored wings, again, it's absolutely necessary for its wings to be a copy of each other, as long as for camouflage, but also for it so it can fly. So symmetry is indeed necessary. It's like it's an evolutionary must, okay? So we can have some like examples of symmetry in photography. We see like this symmetrical division, how it brings the feeling of satisfaction here. Okay. Yeah, these are like pretty diverse examples, but you can see like how it's also using the rule of thirds and leading lines along with the symmetry. Yeah. And with that, we move to our next topic, the importance of lighting. In photography, and generally, we have like two types of lighting: natural light and artificial light. So, what is natural light in photography? Natural light in photography refers to any source of light that is created by the sun. We see in this picture. So natural light is the most basic form of light there is. The quality and amount of light present depends on different variables, most notably the weather and the time of the day. And there are pros and cons when it comes to natural light photography, because the quality of light can't be beat, but it's harder to control, for example. It's also constantly changing, so you got to work fast. So what is natural light in photography used for? What are the pros? Like, the pros are it's low cost, it's almost free to use, it offers a variety and can be used indoor and outdoor, and it's effective for varying photographic styles. As we see here, it's like painting with the shadows and the highlights. Yeah, we see like how diverse the natural light can be. So let's talk about types of natural light. Backlight is when the sun is in front of you, lighting your subject from behind. It is called backlight. So the direction of light is named for how the light hits your subject, not where it is in relation to your camera. So it's named after where it is in relation to your subject. And the tricky part of backlight is getting the exposure right. So if your subject is like translucent, like a flower, like more transparent, the light will shine through it. Otherwise, you can matter for the sky and throw your subject into complete silhouette. Like for example, this rock is in a complete silhouette, and this rock also is in complete silhouette, but it has a little bit of like highlights here from the sun. And you can also see the appliance of rule of thirds here, here, you see, like, and it's like using the backlight at sunset is very like useful thing. We also have side light type. Side light is called when the light hits the side of your subject, casting a long shadow on one side. It is called side light. So side lights can range from somewhat subtle when the sun is low in the sky to creating deep shadows and hard edges when the sun is high in the sky. So either way, the high contrast that results from side light, like here, for example, the shadow, the highlight, the shadow, the highlight, can add dimension and depth to your photograph. So this is especially dramatic on subjects which has texture. We see like this texture, and it's like putting the texture more out. We have front light, where the sun is behind you and is hitting the front of your subject. So in this picture, the sun is behind the photograph and it's hitting the subject. It is called front light. The front light can be great for saturating color, but if it's too intense, it can wipe out the texture and have a washed out dull look. And front light works best when the sun is not high in the sky and when it's not too harsh. So when the sun is lower in the sky, it is warmer and less intense. We also have reflected light. So the light can be like reflected from one surface to another, and it can reflect off water, glass, rock, and just about anything else. And reflected light tends to be softer and takes on the color of the material it has bounced off. So you see like this light is reflected from this cliff has the color, a little bit color of this cliff itself, which gives a variety of this color, like it's a gradation of this color, like, and of course again some appliance of the rule of thirds. We have this diffuse light, which is pretty interesting because it's like overcast days doesn't mean that you don't have to shoot outside and stay inside. Like while a white sky does nothing for grand landscape scenes, the lack of shadows present in diffuse light is an opportunity to crop the sky out of your composition and move in closer to photograph the details. So the result will be a soft, low contrast scene like we have here. And diffuse light can also take the form of a shady spot on the sunlight. So we see like this is a bit like dimmed light, not very over bright, not very contrast, but it's like more soft lighting. We have dramatic light, like storms and bad weather can be used for such effect. And while going out in bad weather can sometimes result in coming home empty-handed and feeling tired and cold at the same time, being without like great opportunity for the sun to have in your pictures, but it can be an opportunity for a dramatic photograph. And it's about being in the right location to get the rewards that dramatic weather can bring. And we also have twilight. So it's like as soon as the sun dips below the horizon, all the photographers pack up their gear and they go home and they miss the most favorite time to shoot, which is twilight, and it happens after in about 20 minutes after the sun goes down or 20 minutes before the sun comes up. So in the period between day and night transition, there is plenty of usable light rich in color, while our eyes will be able to see often only black, our camera sensor will see deep blue colors and rich pinks. So this time, like 20 minutes before the sun comes up or 20 minutes after the sun goes down, can be also pretty special for natural light and night light, of course. So it's an exciting time to photograph nighttime, and not just because of the stars, but you have like city lights, the moon, the clouds reflecting all the moonlight, and it's like all materials to provide a great source of light. And you just need to be able to use your camera for special like shutter options and long exposures, which we'll cover in this training, how to use your camera in manual mode. So this is like the main types of natural light. And let's move to the artificial lighting. Artificial lighting is any lighting which is intentionally added by the photographer. So this can include flash units, studio lights, lamps, and more. And some examples of artificial lights are like for example, in this picture, it's like artificially lit up. And for example, we have a softbox type. So this is like our softbox, and softbox provides a diffuse light source that creates soft shadows. So it's called softbox for a reason, yeah. Okay, this picture got lost, but it's the same type of the softbox. We have the ring light, which is a circular light source that evenly illuminates the subject. Okay, see, this is the rim light here, which can evenly illuminate the subject, either some product or the actor. And we have a strobe light, which is a high intensity lighting device. And this is like brief light source, and it's very often used in fashion photography. Okay. So you can also use these strobe lights in combination with softbox. You can put a softbox like this on a strobe for different effect, but it all like takes some experiment, some practice. You have to just turn it on and check it out what kind of effect it has, and that's the way to learn. So with this, I think we can move. If everybody feels right, and if you don't have questions about the lighting types, we can move to understanding aperture, shutter speed, and ISO. So everybody's here. Let's continue. Our training. And this is like the basic theory for like practical use of the camera. And this knowledge applies to every type of camera. If you want to shoot professionally, this applies to cinema cameras, this applies to cell phone, mobile cameras, and this applies to digital cameras or like photography cameras, any type of cameras. You need to have this knowledge. So when using a camera, you have three things you need to control. And these three things are your aperture, your shutter speed, and your ISO. And we'll go one by one and cover how can we control and what is these properties. Let's start with aperture. So aperture is simply about depth of field. And what is depth of field? Depth of field is what amount of space in the photograph, what amount of space is in focus, and what amount is in blur. Okay, so along with controlling how much light enters your camera, aperture also determines the depth of field in your image. The depth of field, simply put, is how much of your image is in focus. Okay? This is an example of shallow depth of field. A shallow depth of field allows you to throw the background of your image out of focus. Like we see, the background here is blurry, and getting rid of its details, and it's drawing focus to your subject. So distance plays an important role in focus. So you better make sure that there is enough distance behind your subject for the background to fall out on focus. So if the background and subject is too close, then we won't have a good depth of field because the focus point will be close and we won't have blurriness and this focused area. Okay, depth of field also is like at its most shallow when shooting close-ups, which makes it ideal for portraits. So to achieve a shallow depth of field, you should use a wide aperture, low f-stop. So what does this mean? Here you see this is our lens, okay? So the smaller the f-stop, you see here the f-stop, it's like f1.4, f2, 2.8, f4, okay? It means the smaller the f-stop, the more light the lens lets inside, okay? So it gets brighter. So the f-stop is pretty much the property of the lens itself. So there are different lenses which have different f-stops, like f.2 lens, f.4, f1.8, and the lower f stop it has, the more expensive the lens is, because it's harder to make produce a lens with lower f-stop. It means that, for example, if it's night, you need to open your aperture more. It means you need to lower your f number so that it lets in more light and your shot won't be too dark, okay? But at the same time, aperture controls the depth of field. So the lower the aperture, like the more light you let in to this side, the more shallow it is, the less of the image it has in focus, okay? And the more you raise it, for example, you raise it to f16 or f22, okay? And we have a picture like this. Here you see the depth of field is completely open. So we have this background fully in focus and the foreground fully in focus, and is all the details you see, like so this is pretty interesting, yeah. Good. You have any questions or just misclicked?
So can you show some other examples of smaller f-stop and larger f-stop? Or you, if you have it, if you don't, just
I don't have it, but it's very simple to.
But how can you control this aperture on your cell phone? But there are special settings.
On a cell phone, you can you should like turn on the professional mode, which is like a manual mode. And in manual mode, it's like you will see the f-stop. You get, and that's the way. But like most of the phones doesn't have it, like the new phones have it, because this is purely a camera, like more professional camera setting. But it's still available on iPhones and most of the iPhones and most of the Samsung devices. I will show you right now. Wait, now I will share. I think some of you has the microphone is turned on. And
I turned off, so
okay.
I fix it.
Okay, so here is this we requested. You can see it, yeah? So you see, like on the left picture, there is aperture of f10, okay? So the more area can be in focus. You see the depth of field is higher. And on the right picture, the f is set on 2. So we have like only little section in focus. And of course, you can move this focus. You can have this part on the back in focus and all the rest in blur, okay? This also, you see, we have like, this is a low aperture. Like we have only like this little part in focus and the rest is blurry. We have some more here, you see. Let's start with the very left picture here. You see the f 2.8. Okay, so the lowest. We see like the only these petals are in focus and rest is in blur. Okay, here we have f5.6, aperture of 5.6, and we see a little bit more detail here in the depth of field. And here we have f11. You see like how much more of subject is in focus. Okay.
Okay.
I think
Uh,
this covers. If you have more questions, I can show you some more examples. So you can see the presentation, yeah?
Yeah, it's same picture, but aperture and shuttering.
Yeah, yes, you can see the full screen.
Yeah.
Yeah, so what I want you to know is that this painting you see here, these circles, okay? This is what inside of the lens looks like, okay? So the lower you put the number, okay, the more it opens, okay? The more light it lets inside of the lens, but the less you have in focus, like this. So it's like how much light you let in the camera. We will cover this in a practical exercise and you will understand it better. At first, it's like a bit confusing and it takes time, but we'll get there.
I thought it was, I actually, honestly, I thought was opposite, like a wider, the lens is more broader is the view, but as I guess it's just opposite. narrow-
No, it's not about the wider, I mean, the wide, it's millimeters of the lens. This is not the millimeters of the lens.
It's not. Okay.
No, it's not. It's about how much light it lets in.
In,
It
okay.
might be a wide lens with a very low f-stop or wide lens with very high f-stop.
It's like, but the aperture means like opening of the lens, right? How much it opens.
Yes,
And
how
closes,
much
yeah?
it can
Yeah.
open. Yeah, how much how much light it can open.
Yes.
Let in. So you will see that the lower number it has, the higher price it has. Like, for example, when they needed to shoot the darker side of the moon, NASA ordered Carl Zeiss. The Carl Zeiss is like a Rolls-Royce of lenses. They ordered Carl Zeiss the lenses with the special aperture of 0.8. Like 0.8 was never produced because they did not need for cinema or for anything, you get? So it had to let in a lot of light in order to shoot the darker side of the moon. and they ordered that lens to Carl Zeiss, and later Stanley Kubrick bought that lenses from NASA and shot some of his well-known movies. The next one is the shutter speed. So don't worry if you don't get this very clearly, because we will have a practical exercise and we will practicing setting all of these parameters with our own hands in the camera simulator later. So next is shutter speed. So shutter speed is how long light is able to pass through your camera sensor. When you click the shutter button to take a photo, your camera shutter opens to let in the light and then closes to block the light. The length of time the shutter stays open is determined by your shutter speed. You understand? If the shutter speed is how quickly it will close. You get it? For example, the slow shutter speed, you see, this object is moving and you see it's blurry, okay? Because the shutter speed is slow. And this is fast shutter speed, okay? So the drummer is playing, you get his hands are moving very quickly, but because of the fast shutter speed, because it's opening and closing very quickly, it's freezing the moment. So it's like slow shutter speeds blur the movement, and when the shutter stays open for a longer period of time, the objects in the frame have more time to move while the image is exposed. So like everyday subjects such as like passing cars will typically begin to see clear motion blur at shutter speed of around 160 and slower. The slower the shutter speed here, the more blur you will get. If you want, I can show you some more examples.
But on the cell phone, they are automatically, right, done, performed. You don't have to use any options on the cell phone.
It's like even on the cameras, you have that auto mode, which is like setting everything automatically. Okay, like as in the cell phones, it does automatically. But if you want to like understand photography and get more out of it, you have to like know these principles and be able to use the manual mode, because in the manual mode you can make photograph in every situation, but with auto mode it just makes like a flat balanced light photograph and that's it. But in some photographs you might need a darker picture, you might need more lighter, or you might want some more blur, or you want some less blur, you get. So like this you have control over everything. Like for example here will show you some more examples.
How about if you want to like take photos of fast moving objects, like for example, dancing or for like a concert and
Fast moving objects, yeah?
yeah, what would you, yeah, which kind of camera would you use so it gets more, so it's not gonna get blurry?
You need to raise, of course, you need to raise your shutter speed.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'll
So which
show
is the
you
highest? Yeah.
what is the
So it's means that the higher the number of the shutter speed, the more expensive the camera is.
No, it's not like that. It's not
No,
like
no,
that.
no.
It's not like that in a sense of shutter speed in cameras, because it's like not so expensive to produce
Mm,
faster shutter speed, but it's expensive to produce a lens
lens,
which
okay.
has a low aperture.
Aperture, okay.
That's the thing. For example, here you see like this picture. You see like this picture. Yeah.
We can see it.
Is it visible?
Yes, it is visible.
Yeah, you see like the droplets are completely frozen, yeah?
Yes.
This is pretty fast moving, okay?
Uh-huh.
So even like this bird, which is considered as one of the fastest birds, who's like moving its wings very fast, you can see that its wings are frozen, yeah? So this happens when your shutter speed is high. So it can capture the moment quicker. It means that it opens and it closes quickly. You get?
Mhm.
In example, if it's low shutter speed, you see here in this picture, it's taken on the low shutter speed. And you see how blurry it got. If I were to shoot this picture on higher shutter speed, okay, then we would even count all the chairs on this attraction. You get?
So you have to adjust this manually, correct? When you are taking pictures. So if you want this kind of
Yes,
visualization, then you just use higher.
definitely, yes. Like you can't achieve, for example, you cannot achieve this with auto mode. So this is like very low shutter.
So if I was taking picture with a regular cell phone, and I would like to, for example, take picture of this moving object, what you just showed, this carousel, what will be the visualization if it's an automatic mode?
If it's automatic mode, it
Yeah.
would be like regularly. It would like just show it like this. You see,
Like
like
blurry? Blurry?
no, like in the middle,
In the
like
middle.
this. You get like it depends if it's like moving too fast and the phone can't handle. But if it's like normal speed motion, then it would just freeze it like this. You get like it's trying to not make it blurry by auto mode.
Mhm.
So it's still about up to you what you want to show.
Mhm.
There we have like, you see like this opening of the bottle. It's shot on the high
Mhm.
shutter speed. So like everything is frozen here. Okay. And the next thing we have, so the shutter speed is, and also like at the same time, all of these controls how much light you let in. You understand? Like if you have the higher the shutter speed, the darker your image gets. You get why?
Yeah, because it can't analyze the lighting speed.
Yes, if I have the shutter speed set on, for example, 50 seconds, so it needs 50 seconds to close. Like it opens, stays for 50 seconds, and then close. And if I have shutter speed set at 1 divided into 1,000, like, so it means like 1,000 split seconds. It means that in the first situation when I have set it on 15 seconds, it's letting in the light for 15 seconds. It's letting the light to get in the camera. So it's collecting more light. But in the situation when I have it at 1 split thousand, it's just letting in light like in a very, very short time, like 1,000th of the second, and it gathers a little amount of light. So I will cover in the next slides how to balance that. And the third parameter we have is ISO. And ISO controls your camera sensitivity to light. So all of these three is connected to light in the first place. Like in dark situations where you need to make the most of the available light, you can increase the sensitivity by increasing your ISO. So the higher ISO, the more light you get in the picture, but the noisier the image gets. It depends on the cameras, but generally it's like you don't want it past 3,000, past 1,600. It depends on your cameras really. And the lower your number, the less light you have. So when setting up your shoot, you should always set your ISO first, because your ISO will affect what apertures and shutter speeds you're able to use. And this is example you see. This is at ISO 100. We see how smooth the image is, and it's like a bit darker, and then it gets a bit lighter, more lighter, and you see how noisy it gets from left. Take a look here, and then take a look here. You see the higher ISO, the noisier you see these grainy dots here, the noisier the image got, because it's like too sensitive to the light. And it's compensating, it's bringing in more light, but the image is less smoother compared to here. Okay, and we have some so we understood this part theoretically. Okay, and we have this exposure compensation. So you see this bar in every like photo camera, and even in the cell phone cameras too. if we turn on the manual mode. So this shows the light exposure bar. So the +1, +2 is like brighter picture, and minus is like darker, like overexposed and underexposed pictures. So you see, like, this is on the 0, this is on +1, on +2 overexposed, and then we have -1 and -2. To understand, with all that 3 properties that we covered, the aperture, shutter speed, and ISO, we are balancing it where to be, either to be on +1 or -1 or 0. We control, like, we can gain more light by lowering the shutter speed or lowering the aperture or raising the ISO. It depends like what you need. You have these combinations. You see, like on 0, and then +1 and +2 and -1 and -2, how it's like going here. We see like this bar in the camera. So if it's like this on +1, then our image is a little bit bright up. If it is on 0, it's like more or less balanced, and if it's on 1, it's like darkened. Okay, here another example of the same picture on the 0 exposure, on -1, -2, we get like +1 and +2. Okay, do you have any additional questions about this? I'd like to hear it now, because we're about to move to a practical exercise of how to control your properties of light. So no questions?
I think not yet.
All right, then let's move. Okay. So I'll leave a link in the chat, and I want you to open it, and we will go through one by one and try some different settings. So this is a camera simulator, which is like almost exactly same as the camera. And let me know when you will open it. I will share my screen of the simulator also.
And we should to set up some settings about shuttering. So I saw. That's really cool.
Okay, so I share the screen now. Can see my screen, yeah?
Yes.
So first I want you to take a look at my screen, and look like we have what we talked about. So this is set on manual mode. So manual mode controls all of these 3 manually. So we have ISO, we have aperture, and we have shutter speed. This is exactly as this is in the cameras, okay? And we can change the lighting from dark to sunny here, and we can change the distance and the focal length, like what millimeter of lens we are using. So the lower we can see the wide lens of 18 millimeters can show more of the subject from the same distance of 2 meters than the 55 millimeters, okay? So both of the lenses has its own purpose. And for example, if we want a close-up, we are not gonna use a 80 millimeter lens or the 35 millimeter. I mean, depends. So it's like if we get close to the subject, you can see, and use the lower millimeter, you can see how different picture is rather than when we get a bit far and get with high millimeters. Okay, so it's all up to our taste and our necessity from the situation we have. And now about the things that we told. You see, like down here, I have the same type of bar as it was in the example pictures. And you see, like it's showing that my exposure, okay, so this is the balanced, like 0 ground, okay, and here it's showing the ISO, the f-stop, the aperture is 10, and the shutter speed. This is what you see in a camera viewfinder when you look inside the camera. That's what you will see, okay? So for example, now you see if I raise my ISO, this bar is moving towards the plus. And it's like moving up and down, depends on what properties I give it to, okay? So let's take an example picture, and let's say I want this little toy to be blurry, okay? So I will have to lower the shutter speed like less than 150, like let's make it 125. But look, when I moved it down, it went too bright, yeah? So I need to balance it, and I will lower the ISO, you see? So it balanced, but now it went too down, and I will lower it with aperture, okay? So you see, like my photo now is blurry, okay? Because I wanted it blurry, and it's like giving you here like some advice. So let's return to the viewfinder. And I think you understood the basics. If I want my picture to have like more depth of field, I will lower the aperture, lower the ISO, but it's still bright. So I have to raise my shutter speed to make it a bit darker. Okay, let's see what it will give me. It's like expose little bit too much light we have, it says. And it's also about like your camera, because not every camera has the same sensitivity. For example, when I had a Nikon camera, it had like for the Nikon camera, it was like +1 was different results than the +1 on Canon. Okay, so you have to also understand how it works on your camera. And let's see, like it was a bit too exposed. I raised it, like you see, 0.1, it will go to this point. Like now it's not so much. And we see like because this is blurry, because I have my shutter speed at 150. Let's see what happens if I put my shutter speed at 200. The scene got dark, yeah. So because it's letting it the less light, but I need to balance it with something. So I will balance it with ISO now. You see, it got here. Let's see now. You see, this is less blurry now, but still it's like not very visible. So I want to make all of its parts visible. So I will raise it to 1000. I will balance it with my aperture because it got way darker. So I will need to darken a bit more, and I will balance it with my ISO. So I raised ISO to let in more light. I lowered my aperture, opened the ring of the lens to let in more light, intends to maintain the point here on 1000 shutter speed. You see, on 1000, this is completely frozen and visible. But because I had to have a higher ISO, my picture is noisy and grainy. Okay. So I could like light up more, use like more sunny here, like use more sunny setting. Let's say we are in a sunny environment. Then you see like this ISO is too much. I can lower the ISO, but even at the minimum ISO, it's still too much. If I want 1000 of shutter speed, I need only one option I have is to raise my aperture and let in less light by raising my aperture. So now you see, like this is visible. The picture is not grainy, and I have some depth of field. So there is some blur on the background. Let's say if I want all of the background to be in focus, I will have to raise my aperture to the max to f22, but then it got dark. Okay, it got dark because at f22 it's letting the very little amount of light in the lens, and I will have to balance it with ISO. I have to raise it all the way to, let's say, 1600. You see, like it got grainy because of the ISO, but what I wanted to show is that all of the background is in focus. You understood? So this is like a little bit overview. I think if you have questions, you can give me questions now. If you don't have questions, I will give you some exercise using this simulator. So let's do the exercise if there is no questions. Okay, if possible, if we have a volunteer, you can like share its screen of the camera simulator. the camera simulator and show us its simulator, and I would give you a task and we could like play around a little bit and have some more understanding of how it works. So who wants to share the screen and test the simulator? I mean, who wants to do it first? Because this is our next exercise to understand better how these camera properties work. Tamara, maybe you want to start if you're able to.
1 moment, you want me to, I just cannot find the screen, the link of this program.
It's wait.
Oh, okay. Oh, I see. Oh, it's okay. I found it.
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll comment it again here.
Mm.
So can you share your screen with us? The screen
Oh,
of
I have to share it. Oh, I thought you.
yeah,
you
like
can-
the
okay,
screen
1
of
moment.
the simulator.
1 moment. You share while other participate. Oh, you cannot start screen share while the other participants is sharing. That's what it says.
Ah, okay, I will turn off my screen. No, since we don't need it. Try now.
Can you see it?
Yes.
So, um,
So let's see now. Put the mode, you see the mode, put it on M.
yeah, okay. Oh, it's manual, right?
Yeah, so you control all the three properties. And now I want you to like adjust aperture, and try to balance it. Like you see, it's the tickling point is on near the number 2.
Yes, yes.
It means that your picture is overexposed. It's like plus
Ah.
2 plus. Like snap a picture now, for example.
So should I increase or decrease now?
Just snap for now. So we'll see. Like click the
Snap.
snap.
Oh,
Okay.
yes.
Okay.
Yeah, okay.
So let's return. Now let's see like what we can do to balance it. It's still on plus 2, yeah?
Yes.
So why is it like that? We see like your setup of lighting is like too sunny.
Maybe, okay, so I should decrease the sun.
No, let's
like
keep,
this,
keep it
maybe.
sunny. No, keep it sunny. It's like the, for
okay.
example, you're in a sunny condition.
Okay.
And what do we do? Look, first of all, we said like to set up our composition using ISO first.
Okay.
So your ISO is at 800, which is pretty much for sunny. You get? So if
Uh-huh.
you have a lot of
Okay.
light, you don't need high
Mhm.
sensitivity, yeah?
Mhm.
So let's like lower that
You-
first.
you-
Yeah,
Like
even
400?
more. I think 100 will be,
Okay. Okay.
you see, like at 100, it moved a segment down. Like from the 2, it went down to 1. Okay.
Okay, yes. Yes.
So now your aperture is also pretty low. You're letting in much light for the very sunny
this?
condition.
So now it's in the middle.
Yes, yes, yes. Now you can try to snap a picture because the middle would work.
Yeah, looks nice.
Yeah, like it's a bit blurry on the back. It's
But it's
like,
good. It's less noisy, right? As you say.
yes,
And it's
yes.
more, concentration is on more on the object and not on the background.
Yes, now let's make a little experiment. For example, I will like give you a task. We need the background to be more blurry, as
So
blurry
shut. Mhm.
as blurry as possible. No, I mean the shutter speed is blurring the moving objects.
Ah, I see. Okay.
So for the depth of field,
Right.
it's the aperture.
Oh. So we go higher?
You can like I want you to try what
Okay.
what will happen.
Let's
So you
try.
see when you went higher, it
Ah,
got
no.
darker. But
No,
the
it's
higher you
darker.
went, you have more focus, yeah?
Okay, yes. So what you suggest to make
s-
it more burn?
You should like first like let's take a less sunny setting because in sunny setting it's not gonna work. Like take it in the middle. Okay.
Like this?
A bit sunny.
Like this? Partly cloudy?
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
And now look at your exposure meter. Take a look at your exposure meter.
Yes, it's -2.
So it will be dark.
Right.
So what do we need? We need to raise ISO first because that 100 ISO is for the very sunny setting. Yeah. So you
So
raise
go,
it, let's say leave it at 800.
okay.
And it's like ISO is like you're setting a base, okay, and then you're setting all other properties around that base. So you say that, okay, I don't want more than 800 because it will look grainy, it will look noisy. Okay, so then what you will do, I will let in more light by lowering my aperture. So lower aperture means the more open the lens is, okay?
So now it's in the middle.
Yeah, it's in the middle. But look, we want the picture to be very blurry as possible. So what does it mean? Your aperture has to be the lowest.
Okay, got it.
But look, like now it got overexposed, yeah? No, I mean, put it at the lowest.
Like where? Like here?
Yeah, 2.8.
2.8? Okay.
Yeah, 2.8.
Okay.
But look, it got overexposed, but I need it definitely like that. So I can't change the aperture, okay? Because I want the background to be blurry. I need the depth of field. So what I had to do is only one option, to balance it with my shutter speed.
Okay.
So what I would have to do, what do you think? I think, yes, you see, you're raising it. Yeah, brought it in the middle. But also to remember, the middle is not like a must.
Mhm.
In some compositions, you might need and want like -1, -2. For example, if you are capturing a black cat
Mhm.
under a shadow, you need +1, +1.5, you get?
Yes.
So that black will be a bit balanced and visible. Now take a picture and let's see how the background will get blurry on the f2.8 setting. We have like aperture 2.8.
It says nice shooting.
Yeah, you see like the background is very blurry here.
Very, yes. Yeah, it's good.
And
Mhm.
because we had the higher shutter speed, this moving toy is frozen.
Mhm.
Okay.
Okay.
Let's like now change the ISO.
Mhm.
Change the ISO settings, and let's say we are shooting in a dark environment.
So like this. No.
Yeah, let's make it darkest. Okay.
Overcast. No, bright indoors.
Like
Like
the yeah, like dim indoors.
Mhm.
So now you need to have it at 0 somehow.
You mean ISO?
No, like the exposure meter, you need it
Ah,
at 0. How are you going to set it
right.
up?
So no, First of all, we have to check ISO, right?
Yes, you need to set a base ISO. So since it's a very dark scene, okay, you need high ISO. But
But it's not doing anything.
okay,
Yes. But the meter is not
yeah,
moving.
let's test.
Mhm.
Let's test. Let's see what it will do.
Mhm.
But still, the meter still did not move. Why?
Right.
No, aperture is
Mm,
at good
yeah.
position. Like the lower the aperture, the more light you let. So here in dark setting, you need it at lowest.
Okay, so go to aperture down.
Yeah. I think it's your shutter speed is 500 is too much. And that's why it's going dark in the minus.
Okay, like this.
Okay, let's like remember your settings for a moment. So your ISO is 3200. Okay, and aperture is at the lowest, so you're letting in the most light you can, and your shutter speed is at 113. Okay, so let's take a picture and see what happens.
Oops.
So you
No,
see now, let's
it's
like
not.
yeah, don't turn it off. Let's take it again. Take it again. No, with same settings. And let's like
Oh,
yeah, let's discuss, okay?
let's discuss. Okay.
Yeah, just take a snap and discuss.
Okay.
Okay, now you see like the first thing you see that all of the image, including the girl, is blurry. You get like
Yes.
and why did it happen? Like because the girl was also moving in the picture, you remember?
Right.
Yeah.
So the shutter speed has to be changed, right?
Yeah, so it was at 13. And to remember the shutter speed, which is like stable under handheld conditions, okay, is 150. So
So we have to increase.
always
Yeah.
like lower than 150 will be blurry if you are shooting with hands. Okay. So
Right.
first that, then the picture is like very noisy, you see. what is it because of?
First of all, lighting is very low.
Yeah, lighting is low, but we set ISO too high on like
And
3000.
okay,
You know, like ISO base, I mean, if you don't have a very expensive camera like new Sony Cinema-Line cameras, that cameras have base ISO of 3000 and 5000, and even at 5000 it is not noisy. Okay, like, and it is great for low light, but it costs a lot. But in most of the cameras, like ISO more than 1000, more than 1600 is noisy image result. Okay.
So which is the optimal number of ISO you have to have?
It
Not
depends.
too
Like
expensive.
generally, more than 800 is starts to get noisy. But for example, you can like search from your camera, for example, the least noisy it should be at 100, yeah, because 100 or like 50 ISO is the lowest, yeah. So at 50 it should be smoother, but there are like some Canon cameras which has the best output at 640 ISO. You get like, it does not have it, it's like how to say it, it's on that very special model. You get like, for that very special model, it's showing like that at 600 is the best.
Sorry, I was I went actually was an internet problem, so
It's okay.
saying something. Oh,
Yeah, it's
so
okay. You can share again.
yeah. But I have to go again back and see the I have to find the Zoom link. I mean the link. 1 moment. Go to chat.
Wait, I
Okay,
will.
camera. Okay, 1 moment. And I should start sharing. Okay. Some reason it's not showing.
You can try to turn it off and share it again.
Yeah, maybe somebody can do it now. Sorry.
Yeah,
Because
if we have
it's
some
problems. Sorry.
who wants to do it, I mean, this exercise is for everyone. Everyone should do it because you will remember it very well. So, who can be the next participant to learn the basics of the camera exposure? Nobody? So is Mikey here? Or Renata? Or Diana or Dr. Sere? Have any participants here who?
Okay, I take over.
Nice.
Since there is no answer from anybody. So I share my screen, right?
Yes, I opened that link of camera simulator and let's see.
Just 1 moment. There's something wrong. I think I have also internet problem.
It's not sharing at all.
It didn't share. Well, I'll try again.
Oh, okay, shared now.
Do you get my screen?
Yes, yes, we see.
I don't see it. That's the problem.
It's not showing for you.
Okay, now I get it. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so I made the lightning 0
Okay.
and the distance just in the middle.
Yes, the distance can be as you wish.
Now the focal length. I don't want to bring it too far.
Yes, set it up as you like it. So we are mainly now covering the
Oh, okay. So ISO, you said 50 is the optimal.
no. I did not say that 50 is optimum. It said like
800.
yeah, like after 800 it's
800.
getting noisy.
Mhm.
So but here it's like very dark setting.
Okay. In that case, I don't play with the aperture because if I raise it, it will be very dark.
In that case, you have only one option. Yeah, if you raise it, yeah, you're correct. It will be very dark. You can turn on the tripod.
Tripod, yes.
Okay. And you can lower the shutter speed 150, let's say 120.
120.
No, like this is like 1.5 now. Put it on 120.
Just one moment, please. 120. 15. 120. Okay.
Yeah. And raise your ISO a bit.
1600.
You can raise it more. Since you say like it's not enough, and now it's like now it's at minus 0.5. You see that down here under that girl.
Yes.
You see like these points like +1, +2.
Okay.
So it's showing how dark or how bright it is. Okay. So now it's like a little bit dark, which might be fine.
Mm-hmm.
So let's like take a snap and just test what result we will get.
Okay, I take the snapshot.
Yeah. So let's say like it's still a bit dark. It got noisy and it's a bit blurry because of the movement. Yeah, because we have it like 120 and for the shutter speed optimum is like 150. Okay.
Okay, so I take
But
it.
yes, but look, in this like dark dark light, this is the optimum you can do. Okay, so let's like raise the lighting setup,
Okay.
put it in the middle.
Okay, just one moment. It doesn't come to fine tuning. Just okay now.
No, like put it more to the right, like put it in the middle. Yeah, like that.
Oh, then it is +2.
Yeah, then we will have to balance it with ISO. Look, like this lighting distance and focal length is just your situation, like the
Okay.
situation you're in. So we are like just now in a different situation. Imagine like in more like sunny situation, and we will balance that over exposed with ISO, aperture, and shutter speed.
So I have to lower my ISO.
Yeah, set the base ISO. I think,
It-
yeah, let's do it as you think first, and then discuss. Okay.
Okay.
And you
But
can also say why you think to do it like that.
I have reduced ISO because lighting was more, and I will get too light picture if I take too high ISO.
Yes, but look at your exposure graph. It's showing +2 down the gate. What does it mean? It means that maybe the ISO of 800 is still much.
Oh. Now it is 1.
Yeah. So okay, and you can like set it up, take a snap as you wish, set it up. So you see like it's yeah, it's
The girl is okay, but the
uh,
toy is blurred and the
we-
background is blurred.
don't turn it off. Just take one more and yeah. So look like what the simulator says itself. It says that the photo is seriously overexposed. Okay, which means the girl is like too lit up on her face. You see, like on the left side of her face,
Yes.
it's like burn.
Yes.
Yeah, her neck. So it's because we had put it on +1.5, the exposure graph. Okay.
Yes.
Let's go again back to the viewfinder. Okay. And here you see, look at the graph.
Yes, it is
Okay,
1.5.
so now your task is to have balanced lighting, but keeps the depth of field same way, like keeps the background blurry, same way it was before.
I make it with the aperture. Is that right?
No, it's
No.
not. Like, because if you raise the aperture, like raise the aperture to 20, like 10 or something like that. Raise it to 10, for example.
10. 5, 8, 9, 10. Okay.
Okay, give it like two more, like 12. Raise it to 12. So now, okay, now, yeah, leave it. Now you need to raise your ISO also, yeah, because it's dark now.
Yes.
Raise a bit more. Okay. And now take a snap and look what will happen with the raised aperture.
Okay.
You see, the background is less blurry.
Okay.
Okay.
I understand.
So this is like you control lighting and you control how much you want it to be blurry.
Why do I turn the tripod on?
Because like if you have low light conditions and you need your shutter speed to go down, if you use your tripod, it will be less blurry, yeah? Because on tripod, the camera is moving less.
Okay.
Yeah, you can turn it off now. And let's say we want we want more blurry picture.
Mhm.
What will you do? Like we want the picture to the background to be completely blurry and
Then
rest.
I change the aperture.
Okay, let's set it up and the way you think, and let's test it and see it how it will work.
So, okay.
It's like a little bit blurry, but it's not the most blurry it can be. So what will you do if you want it to be the most blurry?
Shutter speed. I will speed with the shutter speed also.
No, you should like reduce your aperture more.
My aperture more.
Reduce.
4. Is it okay?
If you want it to be the most blurry, you need to put it at the lowest.
Okay.
And now you need to balance because your scene is like it says plus 1.5.
Yes.
So you will have to balance it a
Uh,
bit either with ISO
With ISO.
or with shutter speed. But so now it's like too much.
Too much. Now
Yes.
it's balanced.
Now let's test. Let's test. Yeah, it's a nice shot. So it's like you see the background is completely blurry.
Yes.
So we have the subject in focus.
In focus, yes.
And it's also like not very dark and nor very bright.
Yes.
And we have some blur, motion blur on this toy. Okay. Let's return to the viewfinder.
Okay.
Okay, nice. And let's make the one more test, like one more task for you. Now, let's say we want that toys that's moving
Yes.
to be very sharply in focus, not to be blurry. Like, what will we do? Like, you can change the lighting setup if you want. You can change everything however you want.
I made the lightning little less distance. ISO.
No, I'll tell you something. For that, you need high shutter speed, yeah?
Yes.
So high shutter speed means you need more lighting, yeah?
Yes.
Because the higher the shutter speed, the less light gets in the camera, yeah?
Okay. So less ISO.
Now depends how you're gonna make it. I mean, 4,000, you can like test the 4,000 is more than enough, but you can just take a snap and test if you get the result. Oh, you see?
So I'm content with this picture. What do you think?
Yeah, it's like it's what we wanted. That toy is completely in focus.
Yes.
It's not blurry. Background is still blurry because
Yes.
of the aperture. We set it on 2.8.
Yes.
And the girl is also greatly lit in the scene. Yes.
So
You understood the basics, kinda?
yes, thank you. That it was a very great help. I didn't have the concept of it, honestly.
Yeah, so it's like, for example, now you see, let's say you have this very sunny atmosphere, yeah?
Yes.
And let's say it's less sunny for now. Make it
Less
less
sunny.
sunny. Yeah, like there. Yeah, right there.
Yes.
Yeah. So you see, like we can't shoot at 4,000 with same parameters because like yeah, and I want it to be at 4,000, but with less sunny, it gets dark. Yeah, in my exposure.
So more ISO.
So yeah, you will have to raise ISO. That's only your option. And another option you have, look, 4,000 is too much. 4,000, you can like even shoot a sport car, you get? Like very fast moving. And this toy is not so fast moving, yeah?
Okay.
So maybe 1,000 is enough. You get? Yeah, even maybe 800 is enough. 1,000.
I
Yeah,
mean-
so yeah, let's take a look.
Oh, it's
Yeah.
nice. Okay.
Yeah, you see, like it was a darker lighting conditions. So you had to like by removing your shutter speed to 1,000,
Yes.
you have more room for ISO and for your aperture, your f-stop. Yeah.
Yes. Yes. Okay. Okay.
Yeah. So let's take one more test.
Okay.
Let's see now that I don't want such a clear image.
Clear
Okay.
image. Where is it? Clear image.
I want to have like that toy. I want it to be more blurry.
Toy will be blurry. In that case, shutter speed will be less.
Yes. Yes, but then when you lower the shutter speed, look at the lighting graph. Look how it goes. No, not that lighting. Under the girl. You see, it's overexposed.
Okay. So make it little more.
No, you leave it at 60. 60 is good for that.
Okay.
So what I want you to know that you can balance it with the other two
With the
options.
other. Okay. So you want it blurry, so I reduce the ISO.
No. ISO has nothing to do with blurriness.
Oh, it had to do with light and sharpness.
It has to, yeah, it has shutter speed is blurriness, okay?
Okay.
So with 60 shutter speed, it will be blurry.
Yes.
But now you need to adjust the other two for it's like too exposed. So it means that 1,600 ISO, maybe it's too much.
I make it 200
Yeah, look, it's coming down to normal.
and change my aperture also.
Yeah, you can like raise it a bit and see.
Okay, now I have here balanced.
Now take a snap, let's see.
Okay.
Yeah, you see like this is another type of image you can make. Like if you like this toy to be blurry at the same time with the background,
Yes.
but you want also the overall lighting to be like balanced.
Yes.
So this is how you manage these three properties, okay?
Okay.
So
Okay.
you balance between them.
I understand. Thank you. Now I want to give chance to the other colleagues.
Yes,
So
yeah.
I stop sharing.
Yes,
Thank
it's
you.
off now.
It was very great help. Thank you.
Thank you for taking your part.
It's not easy, I must say. I must say, you need practice, I guess, some kind of practice. So
Yeah, definitely. You need to see, you need to experiment a bit how it works, how it will give different results. Like for example, now you see my screen, yeah?
Yes.
And let's say that, for example, I'm in a very sunny situation, okay? And I need to take a picture now. Now you see like how I move all these properties. But I have like different ways of putting it in balance. But also I want you to know that it's not a must that you put it always here at 0. In some situations, you need it a bit plus 0 point something, or a bit more, you get, or even a bit more. It depends on situation, okay? If I'm shooting some very like black object or a dark landscape, then I need it to be at +1 or at +2. So I will balance, and that dark thing will be a bit lit up and the final picture will be balanced. If I am shooting something that's very bright, like for example, if I'm shooting a white car in the broad daylight, then I will have to make the picture a bit dark. Yeah, like this. And we can like check the different varieties of how it will work. Like this is like very sunny environment. So I need to put my ISO at lowest because a lot of light is coming and I need little sensitivity. So because look, if I raise the ISO, look how my exposure is raising a lot. And look what happens. This is what happens, okay? So I need to lower it, and I cannot have my aperture at low because it's like even worse. A lot of light is coming because my aperture is open and it's letting in a lot of light now at 2.8. So I need to raise it until it gets to the point somewhere there. And my shutter speed is doing fine like this. Yeah, now it's like balanced. But if I will, for example, raise more shutter speed, if I want this toy to be more in focus, okay? Now you can see at 50, everything is fine, but this fast moving object is blurry, okay? And this is what I would do to balance between these two. If I want this toy to be in sharp focus, okay? Look, I will raise my shutter speed as I need a high shutter speed to capture this moving object. I will set it at, for example, 320, maybe at 500, I will put it. But now it's too dark. Now I will let some more light in using this aperture, like opening my lens ring, letting in more light until I balance it. You see now? Yeah, you see it's like pretty sharp, and overall image is also exposed very well. So if you have any questions or if you want to try this under my guidance a little bit, and you can tell me, or you can like save this link. It's called the camera simulator. There are different ones too, and you can play around with this if you don't have a photo camera. If you have a photo camera, of course, it's better to play around with a photo camera.
So all cameras have this kind of features, ISO, aperture, shutter speed, and all these things, right? You
Yes,
can-
this is like basic,
Basic, right?
and
It's at the
it
top,
has
it's a knobs, or it's inside, it's a digital.
how what I did not hear.
Oh, are there specific knobs on the outside of the camera?
Yes, yes.
Side, or
Yes.
you have to do settings,
No, there is like specific buttons.
buttons, okay.
Yeah, and it's like you have to be able to change it very quickly
Mhm.
because like especially in street photography, you have like seconds to adjust it.
Mhm. Right, okay.
Or even if you are shooting some news reporting, okay? But it's like after like practice, it's getting very much a habit, and you know in seconds, now I need ISO more, less, this more, this less, and you're getting the results very easily. There is like one more thing I can quickly share with you. So this is like the three main things like ISO, aperture, and shutter speed. But we also have white balance, okay? So which you also set, but the white balance is pretty simple thing. I'll just show you. So this is another camera simulator. I'm sure you can see it, yeah? Can all of you see it? Can somebody confirm if you can see it?
Yes.
I can see.
Okay, so here we have same properties, f-stop, our aperture, shutter, and ISO, but we also have white balance. And what white balance is like how warm or how cold you want it to be. So this is a live simulator, and you can take a look at the picture as I change the properties, how the picture is changing. You see, like it's getting warmer at higher kelvins. This K stands for Kelvin. And it's getting colder the lower I go. This can be done in the post-production, like some photo editing software like Photoshop or Pixlr or Lightroom, which we'll cover tomorrow. Part of it, it was supposed to be today too, but we can do it tomorrow too. And you can see this is like what white balance does basically if you want a warmer shot. And here also in this live simulator, you can see like shutter at 120 how it looks like, and you can check look at this air
Can you
cooler.
send us the link, please?
What?
The link of the white balance. Could you please kindly send?
For this simulator, yes, of course. Send it now. So you can see it in the live. Now take a look. I will change the f-stop. You can see how blurry is this background, all the chairs are. I will like raise the f-stop. And you see like it got all in focus. And now it was the ISO was turned on auto. But now I will manually, it's dark because ISO is too low. I will manually set up. Like this is normal, but it's still a bit dark. Why? Because my shutter is too high. So I will lower the shutter 120. So you see like how it works. Like I make it a bit warmer with everything in focus, or I can like blur the background. But when I blur the background, it got very light. Now I need to balance it with ISO. So you see it's blurry and we have only this. Here you can see the magnified resolution also. So yeah, like you can play around. I will put like one more. You can see this window too, yeah? This is also a same type of simulator made by Canon. So it's like writing here and it's showing like for example how it will affect, and you can take a picture and it will show you your picture. I will put a link of it too. You can play around. And it's good because whatever you press, it's writing on the right side here, how it works, what does it affect. And it shows the exposure meter here, like it says good exposure. For example, it says like very exposed because it's on +3. If I lower the ISO, it says -3. So this is the basics for now. I think if you have any questions, you can ask me and you can like play around with these camera simulators. And you will like have more understanding of how cameras work to have better results in photography and in photo storytelling. So no questions, I guess. You're welcome. You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, Nicole. It was
Thank
interesting.
you.
Thank you very much. Yes.
So
Thank you. It was very productive. Thank you.